Hey, what's going on, guys? Jack the Gamer237 here, back with another video. And today it's a little bit of a different video. This is my first video trying this. I've been thinking about now Fortnite has been exploding with players, and I don't want to make this intro too long, so I'm just gonna make it brief. Fortnite is a very evolving game, and it's getting so big. Millions and millions of people are playing around the world, and this are some 5 tips that I've been implementing into my game that I think would help you guys. I know I'm not a pro player, so if you don't want to follow these, you don't have to, but these are just things that I've been working on, that I've been thinking about, that really improved my gameplay and really skyrocketed my solo wins, especially. So let's get right into it. I have these 5 tips right here written down so I do not have to keep thinking when I'm saying things. So, the first tip, number 1, would be know your locations and your territory. This is big because, let's start with ravines, big mountains. You don't want to be in areas where people might be on the mountains and you're way down here in the ravine just walking, because they have height on you and they can shoot you, they can do whatever they want. Stay out of those areas as much as possible unless you're fighting there and you need to finish it, because mountains are a big thing in this game and people go up on them and build bases and camp, and just don't want to be running through mountain areas when you're way down there and they're way up there. You want to keep away from those as much as possible. Stay near plains, more flat land, maybe little humps, but not just big mountains, because you could really get destroyed there. And just knowing your locations, especially like apples and mushrooms. So if you're in a fight and you kill them and you're like, I'm weak, you really need to know where the apples are so you can get health if you're really close. It's like, oh, I know where these apples are. I'm gonna go get these now. You have to know where these locations are. It's very important to know map knowledge in this game. It's really big. Going on to the second tip, this is my theory of weak side of the storm and strong side of the zone. If you want to play weak side, that's more of a like camping, getting a win, not very many high kill games. Playing the weak side of the zone, going to like Lonely Lodge, Flush Factory, Fatal Fields, places where players don't really go a lot. So just loot. When you go to those places, pretty much you have more time to loot up. And opposite, if you want a strong side of the zone, my theory is like high kill games, Tilted Towers, Retail Row, maybe Salty Springs, those kind of places. Mainly Tilted Towers, but those are the places where you want to get high kills, and if you're going for a win, but big places are mainly high kill games if you want them. But if you want to just stay low, and I know a lot of my friends like very like low kill games, so to go to like Fatal Fields, Flush Factory, Lonely, where people don't really go. So that's pretty much it. So my third tip would probably be your sensitivity. Now, this is hard because many players are a lot different. So like if you're having trouble aiming, like if you're not hitting your shots, if you and your enemy keep jumping up and down shooting shotguns at each other, and if you can't hit it, lower your sensitivity. That probably means if you're not hitting your shots when you're jumping, your sensitivity is way too high and you're moving way too much. So I think a good starting place would probably be a 7788 sensitivity, XY axis, depending on what your game, like how good your aim is. You can try. What I did is I play on a 9-9 right now. Working up to 10-10, so what I did is I did a week or 2 on 7-7, mastered that, and then I went up a little bit, 8-8 the next 1 or 2 weeks, and then the next 1 or 2 weeks I went to 9-9, and that's about where I am now. I spent about a month doing all these 2 or 3 sensitivities. I've really been working on them, and you can work up to really, really high sensitivities, but you have to start low if you really want to get great aim with that 9-9, 10-10 sensitivity. So if you're not hitting your shots, lower your sensitivity and practice that, and I think you will be really good off. So if anything, lower your sensitivity if you can't hit your shots. If you can't hit your shots, stay on that, or if you want a little bit of challenge, go up 1 or 2, depending on where you are and what you want to decide to do. So my fourth tip, going on to the second to last one, is make sure you play on the least amount of ping. Don't play on very high ping, so when you go in settings, there's like different locations, Oceania, Asia, Europe, Auto, which is what I play on, which is 16 ping, which is really good. The lower you can get, the better. So my tip would be to go through all of the areas in the world and just pick the one that has the less ping, the least amount of ping, because the lower the better. You will have less lag issues. And especially go towards where your country is. So if you live in Europe, obviously, like, play on Europe. But I go on auto. I live in North America, so, like, I don't think there is an option. I didn't really check. So I use auto, which is like 14 to 16, somewhere in there. And it's really, really good. And I have no lag issues. Plus, my internet is really good. So I don't really have to worry about lag in Fortnite. You know, a few times I'll have lag spikes, but it very rarely happens. So ping is pretty straightforward. The lower the better. Higher the worse. So my last tip for you guys is build every time you shoot a shotgun shot. This is big. It is currently Season 5, and it is an SMG world in Fortnite. Spray, 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 and pray. The last few seasons have been a lot of shotguns, but shotguns are still around. People still use them. They do really good damage. You know, I could talk about headshots. I can go on all of those things and things with the nerfs and buffs, but I'm just making these broad 5 tips. So my 5th tip is build every time you shoot a shotgun shot. Give them the least amount of opportunity to hit you. Once you hit them with one shotgun shot, build a wall. And then go around it and shoot another shot and build. Until you kill them, until you assassinate the target, obviously. But build every time. If you just keep jumping, spamming, and not building, most likely they're probably going to do the same amount of damage, if not more, if you're not building. You have to be the smarter player yourself and know where, you have to know what the territory is, obviously, and where you're hitting them. Anytime you're shooting a shotgun shot, just build. Just build a wall. So shot, build, anytime you're doing that. That'll probably really, really help if you're not great with shotguns and you always die to shotgun players. Once the shotgun